What's up? My name is Jack Murphy, and this is the 30th dividend income report video where I go over what stocks have been paying me dividends, what are my best and worst performers, and what stocks I've been buying and selling. And I did a lot of selling this month. I sold about 25% of my portfolio for the biggest portfolio recomposition I've ever done. So I have a whole video about that where I talk about all the buys and sells. I'll talk about it a little bit more in this video as well. But I did a lot of selling in August, and with that I did a lot of buying. This is the most I've ever bought in a single month by far, including 5 new positions. So we're going to talk about that today. But first I want to talk about how my portfolio performed in August, so let's go to that now. So we're here on Charles Schwab and looking at the portfolio performance, and I got a 3.3% return, which beat the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ. So very good month for the portfolio. Not much more to say about that, but now let's look at the 3 best individual stocks that did well and the 3 worst ones. So to start off with my 3 best ones, Amazon and Regeneron both did around 8%. These are both stocks I added in the middle of the month, so these aren't the 1-month performances for those 2 stocks, but how they performed for me this month. So Amazon I bought after that big dip around August 5th, and I'm up like 8% since then. And Regeneron I also bought during that time, and I'm up 8% since then. And the biggest winner in my portfolio by far, and not a surprise to anyone, is Starbucks. They had a huge jump in share price after the announcement of the new CEO. Starbucks has been a stock I've been loading up on a lot recently, and I got my share price to around $77 a share. The share price is now around the mid-90s, so that was a very good call. And I'll look more into Starbucks later in the video. Now let's go over to the 3 worst performers. And the 3rd worst was Chevron at a 0.07% return. And this is because I also bought Chevron during the dip, but overall it did have a negative month. The next worst performer was Texas Roadhouse at a negative 2.5%. Not much to say on this. It's been having a lot of good months, healthy pullback. And Main Street Capital also had about a negative 3.8% dip, making it the biggest loser this month in my portfolio. Main Street Capital has also been doing well recently, so it's going to have some bad months. Just another buying opportunity in my opinion. So those were the best and worst performers, along with how my portfolio overall performed. But now let's go into the sells and buys I made this month. So let's first look at what I sold. I sold all the positions on screen, and that's how much I had in each of them. I sold them all 100%, so those were my total positions, and this gave me a lot of cash to buy stuff with because I also had around $600 in the portfolio plus my $200 of contributions for August. So I had about 2.6K to work with. I wasn't going to spend it all, but this gave me an opportunity to add a bunch of new positions. So let's talk about what I bought. The first stock I bought was Chevron, and my average share price is sitting around 147. These dots are where I bought. So I did about 1 share on August 1st. Around that dip, I bought about 0.7 shares, a little less. And then throughout the month, I bought another 0.68 later. So that's what it looks like. I got about 3 shares total this month, and my average cost per share was around 147, like I said. My total profits or returns are around 0.3%, but obviously it's not going to be a big difference. I don't want to explain the whole exact reasons why I bought these stocks, because I have a whole video posted like 2 weeks ago explaining the details of all my buys and sells, so if you're interested in that, go watch that video. The next stock I bought was Microsoft. It had a pretty big dip since the CrowdStrike thing, the security breach. So after the Japan thing, there was just a really good buying opportunity for Microsoft. So I ended up getting in around $409 average cost. That first buy was around the $409. Later in the month, I got in around $395 around the 4th. Right now, I have about 0.8 shares. I also got some in my Roth IRA, but in this portfolio, 0.8 shares, average cost per share, $409. And I'm up about 1.8% for the month, or like $6. So nothing crazy, but I am getting in this position at what I think is a good price, and I will continue to buy more for the next couple months at least. So I'm excited for that. The next stock I bought was Amazon. I also got in at a really good price because of that Japan stock market crash. I was able to buy Amazon at an average cost per share of $165. Here are all the days I bought, and I have about 1.9 shares. I also got some in my Roth area as well, but in this portfolio, 1.9 shares at about $165 per share, and I'm up like 8%, so that's already a $25 gain. The next new stock I bought was Visa, and as you can see, I bought around the same time where there was another dip. Not as big as the last few stocks, but still something, and I was able to get my average cost per share at about $260. And I did buy a lot. I got about 1.5 shares, so about $400 was my cost basis. Average cost per share, like I said, was $260, and I'm up almost 6% on this stock, and that's about $23. The last new stock I bought was Regeneron, and I also got in around August 5th. This didn't have a serious drop from that whole Japan market thing, but this was just a stock I wanted to add anyway. I think it's a better biotech company than AbbVie, so that's kind of why I sold AbbVie for this. And if you watch my last two videos, Regeneron is the stock I talk about the most in all of them, so if you're interested in for my reasons, go check out those videos. But to sum it up, they're coming out with a new drug, or it's in development, human trials, and I believe it will do really well. So I want to build a position at Regeneron before that. I was able to get some shares at $1,075, and the stock price now is around $1,200, a little under, but yeah, my average cost per share is about $1,096, about 3.4 shares, and it's up also around 8%, which is about $30. The next stock I bought was SHD, and all the ETFs I sold was about $600, so I was able to pick up about 7 shares this month, right all at the bottom. So my new average cost per share is $76. I have about 19 shares in this portfolio and about 21 shares in my Roth IRA, so just hit 40 shares of SCHD, which is pretty cool. Right now, I'm up 14% on my position, which is about $208, so SCHD is doing really well in my portfolio. And here's Starbucks at $94.50. I bought just before that big price jump. I put about $100 in on August 5th. That brought my new average cost per share to $77.36. I have about 5.78 shares, and I'm up about 25% of my position, so I'm doing really well with that. Over $100. Very good timing with that last buy. Next, I bought Main Street Capital. Bought about 2 shares for $98. I haven't bought any of this in a while, and there was a slight dip in the price, so I decided to pick up 2 more shares. Here are my buys long term. My average cost per share is around $41. I bought some in 2022 and 2023, but none in 2024. So I just wanted to add to my position a little, but I did have to raise my cost per share, as you can see. But overall, I'm fine with it. It's a long-term play. Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and pay more than your average cost per share. And I have about 7 shares now. I'm up about 23.9%, so $80. Those were all the buys and sells I did this month. Made 2 videos already talking about them, so I'm not going to waste your time and talk about them again. Overall, I think the portfolio is looking a lot better now. Probably not going to make any more changes for at least the rest of this year. I like where the portfolio is sitting right now, and I don't plan on buying any new positions unless a really good opportunity comes up out of nowhere, but I'm probably just going to continue adding to these positions for the next couple months. But with that out of the way, let's look at my dividend payments, and the first one was from Verizon, one of the stocks I sold, but I got about $4.93 from them on the 1st of August. On August 5th, I got about $1.74 from JEPI. Once again, this was before I sold it, but since I had some of these stocks I sold on the ex-dividend date, I'm going to get these dividends from them anyway, so this will be the last time you see these dividend payments in my portfolio. On the 7th, I got $1.12 from Lowe's, and on the 15th, I got 4 dividend payments. The first one was from AbbVie, where I got $1.60. Then I got $1.23 from Main Street Capital, $3.79 from Realty Income, and $1.16 from Procter & Gamble. I didn't get any more dividend payments for the rest of the month until today. I'm filming. I get a $3.30 dividend payment from Starbucks. I haven't gotten it yet. I'm scheduled to get it sometime today. So by the time I post this video, I will have gotten paid $3.30 from Starbucks. So that brings my total dividend payments for the month to $18.87. But because I sold a bunch of these stocks, how is my dividend payments going to change in the future? Well, my new monthly average went from about $23 and change to $20.25. And my 1 year total, if I were to not add any more stocks to the portfolio, would have been about $280, but it is now $242, almost $243. So I did lose about $35-ish in yearly dividend payments from those sales, but I think it was worth it because I like the portfolio now a lot better than before, even though some of the stocks don't pay dividends. I know I literally just said that my dividend payments have gone down, but the only month or quarter of months that wasn't affected is the September one. So for September, I'm expected to get about $33 in dividends. First one being Visa, one of the new stocks, Chevron, Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft, Main Street Capital, Realty Income, Texas Roadhouse, SCHD, Main Street Capital, and Pepsi. These stocks are all going to pay me in September and give me one of my highest paying months ever. But the other months that aren't in the September payout cycle are a little lower. So that was everything I wanted to say for August. I have the videos where I talk about the changes I made to my portfolio linked up here. And I also have the Roth IRA one if you're interested. But besides that, nothing else to talk about. Thank you for watching. Peace.